The year is 1922. Picture Hinterkaifeck, a small farmstead nestled in the isolated Bavarian countryside. It's a place where life moves at a slower pace, governed by the rhythms of nature. The Gruber family called this place home. Andreas, the patriarch, his wife Casilia, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, and her two children, Casilia and Joseph. Joining them was Maria Baumgartner, the family's maid. They were a simple, hard-working family, living a quiet existence. But something sinister lurked on the horizon, a darkness that would soon engulf the farmstead. Weeks before the horrific events of March 1922, strange occurrences plagued Hinterkaifeck. The small, isolated farmstead, nestled in the Bavarian countryside, was home to the Gruber family. The tranquility of their rural life was shattered by a series of unsettling incidents that seemed to defy explanation. Footsteps in the snow led to the farmhouse door, but none led away. These mysterious tracks appeared overnight, leaving the family puzzled and increasingly anxious. Who could have made them? And why did they stop at the door? Andreas, the family patriarch, found a strange newspaper, not his own, discarded on the property. It was an edition he had never seen before, from a town far away. This discovery only deepened the sense of unease that had begun to grip the household. He spoke of hearing footsteps in the attic and finding scratches on the lock of the tool shed, as if someone had tried to break in. The sounds in the attic were particularly disturbing, echoing through the silent nights and making sleep a distant memory for the family. A set of house keys went missing, vanishing without a trace. This disappearance was baffling, as the keys were always kept in a specific place. The loss of the keys added to the growing list of inexplicable events that were slowly eroding the family's sense of security. Fear and unease settled over the family. Each member felt the weight of the unknown pressing down on them, their once peaceful home now a place of dread. Conversations were hushed, and every creak of the old farmhouse seemed to carry a sinister undertone. Little did they know, these were just harbingers of the terror to come. The ominous signs were merely the beginning of a nightmare that would soon engulf Hinterkaifeck, leaving a dark stain on its history and a mystery that would baffle investigators for decades to come. The night of March 31st arrived, cold and still. The moon hung high, casting an eerie glow over the snow-covered landscape, creating an almost surreal, dreamlike atmosphere. The air was crisp and the silence was profound, as if the world itself was holding its breath. A blanket of snow covered the Bavarian countryside, muffling any sound. The fields and forests lay dormant under the heavy snow, their usual vibrancy replaced by a stark white stillness. The only movement was the occasional gust of wind, sending flurries of snow dancing through the air. Inside the farmhouse, the Gruber family went about their evening routine, unaware of the horror that awaited them. The warmth of the kitchen fire provided a stark contrast to the cold outside, and the family shared a quiet meal, their conversations filled with the mundane details of daily life. One by one, they were lured to their deaths. The barn, usually a place of work and life, had become a trap, its shadows hiding the malevolent presence that awaited them. First, the elder Casilia, drawn to the barn by an unknown noise. She stepped out into the cold night, her breath visible in the frosty air, and made her way towards the barn, unaware of the danger that lurked within. Then Andreas, Victoria, and young Casilia, each meeting a gruesome end in the barn. The once lively space was now a scene of unimaginable horror, the silence only broken by the sounds of their final moments. Little Joseph, still in his crib, and Maria, the maid, were the last to be murdered. The innocence of the sleeping child and the unsuspecting maid made their deaths all the more tragic, their lives snuffed out in an instant. The night was silent, save for the sounds of death. The farmhouse, once filled with life and laughter, now stood as a silent witness to the atrocity, its walls holding the echoes of the family's final moments. The snow continued to fall, covering the evidence of the night's events, leaving behind a chilling, undisturbed silence. Days turned into an unbearable silence. No smoke rose from the chimney of the Hinterkaifeck farmhouse. No one saw the family tending to their chores. Neighbours, accustomed to the rhythms of farm life, grew suspicious. On April 4th, a group of men ventured to the farm, their hearts heavy with dread. What they found inside the barn would forever be etched into the annals of history. The brutally murdered bodies of the entire Gruber family, stacked one atop another, covered in hay. The scene was nothing short of horrific, a testament to unimaginable cruelty. In the shadow of doubt, news of the Hinterkaifeck massacre spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the quiet Bavarian countryside and beyond. The tranquility of the rural community was shattered, replaced by an atmosphere thick with fear and suspicion. Neighbours began to eye each other warily, wondering if the killer was someone they knew. Investigators descended upon the isolated farmstead, eager to untangle the threads of this gruesome crime. They were met with a scene of unimaginable horror, the likes of which they had never encountered before. The farm, once a symbol of hard work and family, was now a grim tableau of violence. The murder weapon, a mattock, was found in the barn, but it offered little in the way of clues. The blood-stained tool was a silent witness to the brutality that had unfolded, yet it held its secrets tightly. Forensic science of the time was rudimentary, and the detectives had to rely on their instincts and experience. There were no signs of forced entry, no witnesses, and no obvious motive. The farmhouse, eerily undisturbed, seemed to mock the investigators with its silence. It was as if the walls themselves held the answers but refused to speak. The killer had moved with chilling precision, taking care to cover their tracks. Footprints in the dirt were the only trace left behind, leading away from the scene like a ghostly trail. Each step was a reminder of the calculated nature of the crime, leaving the detectives to ponder the mind behind such meticulous planning. The question that haunted investigators and locals alike was as simple as it was terrifying. Who could have committed such a heinous act? The villagers, once a close-knit community, were now bound together by a shared sense of dread. Conversations were dominated by theories and suspicions, each more outlandish than the last. The mystery of Hinterkaifeck would linger in the shadows, a dark chapter in the annals of crime that refused to be closed. The stranger in the night. Adding to the mystery was a chilling detail. The killer didn't just vanish after the murders. Evidence suggested that they remained at the farm for several days. They fed the cattle, ate the family's food, and even slept in their beds. The killer had meticulously cleaned the mattock, wiping away any trace of their presence. The fire had been recently tended. Why would the murderer linger in the house of their victims? What dark compulsions drove them to stay? The answers, like so much else about the Hinterkaifeck case, remained shrouded in mystery. Whispers of incest and revenge. Over the years, numerous theories have surfaced, each attempting to shed light on the Hinterkaifeck murders. One of the most unsettling theories revolves around Andreas Gruber himself. Rumors circulated of an incestuous relationship between Andreas and his daughter Victoria. Could a jealous lover or a spurned suitor have sought revenge? Another theory pointed to Carl Gabriel, Victoria's husband, who had been officially declared dead in the trenches of World War I. Had he in fact survived the war and returned to exact vengeance on his wife and her family? The mystery endures. Despite countless hours of investigation, meticulous examination of evidence, and the tireless efforts of both amateur and professional sleuths, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved. The case has become a dark legend, a chilling reminder of the capacity for evil that resides within the human heart. The passage of time has done little to diminish the mystery. If anything, the lack of answers has only served to fuel speculation and keep the memory of the Hinterkaifeck massacre alive. Hinterkaifeck's long shadow. The Hinterkaifeck murders cast a long shadow extending far beyond the isolated Bavarian countryside. The case has been the subject of countless books, documentaries and podcasts, each attempting to unravel the mystery and bring the perpetrator to justice. The remote farmhouse, once a place of quiet industry, has become a macabre tourist destination, drawing those fascinated by the dark side of human nature. The story of the Gruber family serves as a chilling reminder that even in the most peaceful of settings, evil can lurk in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. An unsolved puzzle. The Hinterkaifeck murders stand as a stark reminder of the limits of human understanding. Despite our best efforts, some mysteries remain unsolved, their secrets buried beneath layers of time and speculation. The case continues to fascinate and horrify, a testament to the enduring power of the unknown. Perhaps someday the truth behind the Hinterkaifeck massacre will come to light, offering a sense of closure to this haunting tale. Until then, the mystery endures, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the shadows of our world.